So let's see the portal vein. So here in this diagram you can see this is the portal vein. So the portal vein, it is the important venous channel which is near about the 7 centimeter in length or about 3 inches, okay, which collect the deoxygenated blood from the abdominal part of the pelvis. So here you can see that is the abdominal part and pelvic part of the alimentary tract except the lower part of the anal canal. That means the gallbladder, the pancreas, spleen transports these all the blood, deoxygenated blood, that should be transposed to that the liver through that the portal vein. Okay, then we should have to see that is the important features of the portal vein. So here in this diagram again you can see that is the portal vein, this one. Okay, and here in this diagram again you can see. So let's see that is the features, important features related with the portal vein. So first, it provides the 80% of the blood that flows through the liver. Okay? Then its tributaries contained up 1/3 of the total volume. Okay? Then the third point, that is the portal vein and its tributaries are devoid of the wall. So that is the important point. Generally all the veins, they consist of the wall, but this wall and the tributaries, portal vein wall and the tributaries of it, they are devoid of the walls. Then next to it, it transport the products of the digestion of carbohydrate, protein and other nutrient from intestine and products of the red cell destruction from the spleen to that the liver. Then the next, it is divided into the 2 branches. So here you can see, which like those of the hepatic artery and discharge their blood into the sinusoids of the liver. So right branch, it is shorter and wider and enters into the right lobe of the liver. So the right branch, it is shorter and wider and enters the right lobe of liver after receiving the cystic vein. Then the left branch, this one, it is longer and narrower and it passes to the left end of the porta hepatis. Okay? So it unites with the ligamentum teres and the ligamentum venosum and receives the para-umbilical veins. Okay? Then the parts and the relations of the portal vein. So first, that is the infraduodenal part, which lies below to the first part of the duodenum. So here you can see this one. So this part that should be present below to that the first part of the duodenum. So here you can see this is the part below to the first part of the duodenum. So in the another diagram we can again see. In the second part, that is the retroduodenal, means that should be present posterior to the first part of the duodenum. And the third part, this one, that is called the supraduodenal part, which lies above to the first part of the duodenum. Okay? Then we should have to see that is the tributaries of the portal vein. So in the another diagram here you can see that is the tributaries. So first, that is the splenic vein. So here you can see that is the splenic vein. It is a large formative tributaries, this one. Then second, the superior mesenteric vein. So here you can see this is the superior mesenteric vein. Okay? So it smaller formative of the tributaries. Then the next one, that is the superior pancreatoduodenal vein. So the pancreatoduodenal vein, this one. Okay? Then left and right gastric vein. So here you can see that is the left gastric vein and this is the right gastric vein. Okay? Then the cystic vein. So here you can see that is the cystic vein. And last one, that is the para-umbilical vein. So here that is the para-umbilical vein. So these are the tributaries which can forming to help to forming that is the portal vein. and this portal vein then enters into that the right and the left lobe of the liver. So here, after then we should have to see that is the portosystemic anastomosis, or that is also called the portocaval anastomosis. So here in this diagram you can see that is the portocaval systemic, means here in this, that is the anastomosis should be seen in the portal and the systemic venous drainage. Okay, the important postcaval anastomosis are, first that is the umbilicus. Okay, so here that is the left branch of the portal vein communicates with the superficial vein of the anterior abdominal wall. Okay, around that the umbilicus. So that is the first, the portosystemic anastomosis. Second one, that is the lower end of the esophagus. So here second, this one, that is the lower end of the esophagus, that is the tributaries of the left gastric vein, that anastomosis with the esophageal tributaries. Okay, and because of this systemic and the portal circulation, the anastomosis should be occurs, and in the portal hypertension it can occurs the esophageal varices. Okay, then the third, that is the anal canal. So here in this region, so here superior rectal vein which ultimately drains into the portal vein, and the middle and the inferior rectal vein that should be drained into that the systemic circulation. So it should be occurs the portocaval anastomosis and causes the hemorrhoids into this region. It's the fourth portocaval anastomosis that should be occurs the extraperitoneal surface of the retroperitoneal organ. So the retroperitoneal organ which is present posterior to that the peritoneum, that is kidney, suprarenal gland, duodenum, spleen, these are the retroperitoneal organ. So in this region, that is the portocaval anastomosis that should be occurs. And fifth, that is the bare area of the liver. So these are the 5 portocaval important anastomosis. Out of these, that is the first 3, that is the near the umbilicus, then the second one, that is the lower part of the esophagus. Here that is first is the umbilicus, second that is the lower part of the esophagus, and third is that is the anal canal here in this. So these are the important portocaval anastomosis.